What's up, everybody? We are Joystick Jabber. We're a podcast where we talk about games, game news, pop culture news. I am Sly Spy Gaming here with FLCLAFI. I'm Ryan. This is Nick. Usually we start the podcast off just talking about what we have been up to. So what have you been up to? Tomb Raider.
1 through 3 remastered. I did beat Suicide Squad because it's been like a week. Because nothing really happened at last week until like the very end, but so we just waited until this week. But yeah, I finished Suicide Squad, and then started playing the 1 through 3 remaster for Tomb Raider.
Nice.
Which I was never like a huge Tomb Raider player. I did play. I don't know if I ever played 2 or 3. I might have tried one of those, but I know I played the first one for a little bit on like demo disc, and then I tried to play the PC version later on,
like the first one.
The very first one. And then I mean I never got out of Peru, which is like basically the first chapter, but now I'm actually playing them.
How's it been going?
I think I only have 2 levels left for the main game. And then there's also they added there was like cut content from the original games that never made it into the final product. So I still have to do that, and then like before I move on to the second one. But it is really good. Takes a bit to get used to.
Like the controls, the old controls.
they did make their own modern control scheme, but you can use the original tank controls. But everybody's kind of back and forth on whether or not tank controls are better or modern controls are better. I personally think the modern controls are better once you actually like get used to them and learn what each button does. Because the problem with the modern controls in the game is they don't tell you anything of how it works. You can go to like the buttons and remap them if you want, but they don't really tell you exactly what buttons do what and like what the shortcut is. And even when you're in like Lara's home, which is like the tutorial, she just talks about the tank control button scheme. So if you're on modern, you're like, what? Like, none of this doesn't make sense. But once you actually learn the modern controls, you can actually do jumps a lot faster. And you don't have to backstep off of ledges to safely grab them. You can just hold right trigger and she immediately 180s and does it for you. So like the other thing people complain about is that you can't just sidestep and do backflips, but you can if you pull your guns out. If you don't have any guns, you can't do it anymore. But like I said, there's like a method where you can spin Lara around in place, and she gets all of her steps, because you need at least 3 steps to do a jump.
Just cheese it.
Yeah, so you can get all your steps in without really moving.
Yeah.
So you don't really need to sidestep or backstep. But yeah, it's really enjoyable so far. It's getting more intense. I think in part 6, which is up tomorrow, there's like a mine area. Like you're in like caves. That was by far the most annoying mission, I think, because it's like also the one that was the most confusing, because everything, like all the wall textures look the same, so like little things you have to crawl into blend right in. So that one actually took me a while to beat. I think the initial recording was like 2.5 hours.
Oh my gosh.
But
you had to cut it down.
Yeah, it ended up being like an hour and 15 minutes, I think.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't, I think you brought this up, but this is the remastered trilogy. Who did the remaster on these again? Aspyr, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about that, and like the other stuff, the other news on them in a bit. But yeah, no, that's awesome. I remember playing the original. I don't know if it's 1 or 2 with my brother and my dad. Like, I wasn't playing it. They were playing it. I was just sitting there as like a 4-year-old watching it or whatever, however old I was.
Well, yeah, I mean the first one came out in '96.
Okay, so I was sitting there as a 1-year-old and watching it.
I mean, they could have played it later.
Yeah. But yeah, I always remember those being interesting. What is the actual story like? Is the storyline actually good? I don't remember the game.
I mean, it's a pretty straightforward like.
You raid tombs.
Well, yeah, but there's like this thing called the Scion. That's like Scion. Like you normally pronounce that Scion, but for some reason everybody in the game pronounce it as Skion.
They're British, aren't they?
Well, it's the one guy who first says it is like He's got like a southern accent.
Oh.
So,
Ski-on.
yeah. He actually's like ski on.
Ski on.
But
ski ball.
There's like 3 different pieces of it, and it contains a lot of power, and it's like giving Lara visions, and it has like the one vision shows like a meteor hitting the earth. So
I didn't realize it was as like supernatural as that. I thought it was like pretty straightforward. Just
no, actually, the old Tomb Raiders are like way more bizarre than the newer ones.
Remake ones. Oh,
I mean,
really?
the newer remake ones do have like supernatural elements to them, because in the 2013 one, there's like the undead samurai. But the old ones are even more crazy, because there's like centaurs and stuff like that.
Really?
Yeah.
What the heck?
There's like this weird species that you fight that blow up, and like when you kill them, they blow up, and there's like fire that flies out of them. So
it's funny when you think of that and like how close. Like if you think about that, and then now knowing that and thinking how close Uncharted gets to that territory.
But yeah, Uncharted, you can tell is like, it's like inspired by like Indiana Jones and Tomb Raider.
But it makes it like they end up making it like more realistic, sort of, because like the Yetis were like, what, there's Yetis all of a sudden?
Yeah.
And then it ends up not being, right?
Well, yeah, but it ends up being like this like tree sap that like gives these like people Hulk powers.
So kind of, yeah, kind of.
It might as well be Yetis. But in the first game, they actually had like Wendigos.
Oh, really?
It was like a curse that would like turn people into like weird creatures. Like they'd get like elongated limbs and.
Oh, I guess it does get into the supernatural. I knew that there's like they were like the spiders. That was in 3, but like I guess those were just spiders.
Yeah, 4 dumbs that way back. Like 4's like we're looking for pirate treasure, and then the final boss is just a normal dude.
Davy Jones, tentacles, Davy Jones.
So yeah, it was like the first 2 games that had like actual. I mean, there was 3 did go into a little bit where like you would fight the enemies with like flaming skulls that could like teleport, but that was because Nate was hallucinating on this water.
Yeah.
So he wasn't actually seeing that, and that wasn't actually happening. But
that's crazy though. I didn't realize that the original Tomb Raider trilogy was as supernatural as that. I thought it was pretty straightforward. Like you go and fight some people and get some treasure.
No, it's got a story. The main villain hires you to find the first piece, and then Lara realizes what it's capable of. So then she
does backflips.
Yeah, and that's how she wins.
Yeah, watch this.
So it becomes like a race to like preventing some doomsday thing. They don't really fully give you a context for it. They just kind of have brief cutscenes here and there. That's how it seems like it's going.
That's how older games used to be. Though, there wasn't like the storyline wasn't as prevalent in it. It was just more so gameplay.
Dude, Final Fantasy VII was a PS1 game.
That's true, but that's very, very different. That was like very story heavy. We can get into that too, but yeah, I'm pumped for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is coming out on Thursday.
This week?
29th.
Oh, the 29th.
Yeah. I think that's Thursday.
That's next week.
I mean, it'll be this week when they.
Yeah, when they.
when everyone sees it. So yeah, no one will see me. It's
a 24-hour live stream.
I know. Well, if it wasn't on PlayStation, I would. But yeah, I'm super pumped for it. IGN's already given it a 9 out of 10. So
they gave Skull and Bones a 7 out of 10.
That's actually better than I assumed.
That's better than most.
Well, they are a quadruple A.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we can get into me being super hyped about Final Fantasy when we get some more of the news section. But I have been doing quite a lot of different things in the past 2 weeks. So as Nick mentioned earlier, we haven't met. We didn't meet last week, which is why we didn't have an episode up last week. There wasn't too much news. There was some like minor news stories, and it's kind of similar this week. There's not like major news stories that are like internet breaking. More so like some minor stuff. But yeah, I mean, last week I played quite a bit of HellDivers 2, which we can get into that a little bit too when we get to the news section. I'm loving it. I know a lot of people have been having some server issues, and we can talk about that later, but I have not been having those issues. Also, Undisputed, which is a boxing game similar to like Fight Night, they actually dropped their career mode, which I was super excited for. Was waiting for that to actually start getting into that game more heavily. They finally dropped it. I've been playing that a ton. If you're a fan of the older Fight Night games, this is definitely something that I think you will all enjoy.
Well, for PC.
For PC, yeah. PlayStation. I don't know what other consoles it's on. I should have probably looked at.
Well, is the game still in early access?
Yes.
Then it's probably not anything else.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's still in early access technically. From what I've heard, they're not going to be making any more updates to the game.
Wait, but then it's like in permanent early access?
Well, I mean, any more updates until the full release.
Oh.
Yeah. No one's getting
done.
it. No. The career mode is very, very, very fun. Hoping that they do a little bit more, like when they do drop the full game in terms of customization for fighters. I've seen a lot of other people talk about that too, but I mean, it's great so far. The early access that I've played of it. So I'm a heavyweight, and I've like a 95% KO.
Yeah, you're like 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I'm like 7 feet tall. It's great. Axle steel flex.
Yeah.
What else have I been up to? Actually, so Friday, which is technically today when we record these are on Friday, so technically today, but for everyone who's going to be seeing this, on Friday, I played indie game called The Edge of Allegoria, which is a pretty cool retro RPG style game. It makes you very nostalgic, but has very adult themes too. It's an indie game that's currently in its Kickstarter phase by one developer, which is always really cool. And you can see that he put a lot of love into the game, a lot of like himself into it. It's very, very cool. So I had the chance to play that, put that up on stream. Very, very adult themes. There's like succubus that will like succubus. No, there's very, very much adult themes in it, which is kind of funny.
You very YouTube friendly.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think he actually did end up toning it down, but I think he's trying to get it from what he was saying on Nintendo and believe Xbox right now. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah. I could see Nintendo being more reserved to that than Xbox, but yeah, that's pretty much all I've been up to. Otherwise, I also dropped my my RoboCop Part 1 playthrough. Put a lot of time into making that video. So currently still doing edits as much as I can on the other parts to hopefully continuously roll those out as well, so everyone can see my reaction to that amazing game. We talked heavily about that game. Yeah. RoboCop was amazing. And then they've also, at this point, they've added New Game Plus. Yeah. I don't know if we ever really dove into that too much, but have you done New Game Plus at all on it?
No, not yet.
There's been too many other games.
Yeah, because that's basically why I've been jumping to every new game. But well, not every new game, but new games that I'm interested in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm actually super surprised at how many games have already come out this year. Like normally, I feel like we don't get this. Like we had when did Dying Light come out? Maybe that was early.
That was earlier in the year.
Yeah. Okay. I thought that because then I think the only major release that we ended up having this early on in the year last year was Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah, I mean, I thought Resident Evil 4 Remake came out in May.
Did it?
I thought it did.
Yeah, because I remember, I mean, that took like everybody by storm.
Yeah.
Hogwarts Legacy broke everything.
I mean, we played that with like a bunch of people at the same time.
Yeah, which is like crazy that never happens.
No.
my wife, who like isn't a huge gamer, was playing Hogwarts. She beat it. I didn't beat it. She's more of a gamer than me, apparently. I'm trying super hard to get her to start playing Final Fantasy X. Final Fantasy VII, like maybe wait until the full trilogy, if that's gonna happen, of the remakes are out. I don't know if she would get into the older, like what was it, 99 is when that game came out. I don't think that she would get into that version because it's a little too old. But I think she would love Final Fantasy X for sure. So I'm trying to get her into that, but she's reading a whole book series right now. So
is there a book version of Final Fantasy?
I actually don't know. There's like tons of movies.
I think there would be.
I'm sure. Actually, I think there are some books. I think there is actually a book that briefly goes into some of the stuff in Final, like briefly covers a period of time between Final Fantasy VII and Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. But that's the only book that I really know of. I'm sure that there's a lot.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would assume they're going to finish the trilogy. Square Enix doesn't have really any other properties. I think they might have just that Foamsters game that I don't think that's doing well.
Taking the world by storm.
So, I wouldn't expect that to stick around.
Yeah. I mean, from what I've heard of Rebirth so far, I guess now while we're on the topic, we can start kind of getting into the news. But from what I've heard from the IGN crew about Rebirth is that it's good. I mean, they gave it a 9 out of 10. But I was also hearing that like this is one thing that I really like about the remake games is that they're more linear than they are like huge open world. And from what I understand, there are definitely some sections of that in Rebirth, but there's also some open world as well. And the worry that I had was that it was going to be very like open and just nothingness, which is now apparently something that we always have to worry about with open world games.
Yeah.
But apparently, I guess that's not the case. I guess it's pretty like there's some open world sections, but it's very very much linear. So. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And remake was very much linear. So you could kind of go through it, but like in those linear like hub areas, there was some side stuff that you could also do, which was cool. So it's like a nice refreshing pace at this point to go into like a game and like not have to worry about just running endlessly for miles and miles with nothing going on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's nice.
That was one thing that was nice about Mirage.
Yeah.
Over Odyssey and stuff, because like Anvil Valhalla, the map is like way smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, Mirage, because that was on your list of games of the year last year.
Well, yeah, out of the ones I played.
Yeah, I didn't actually end up playing Mirage, but
you still have to get through Valhalla as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I mean, did you end up being Ragnarok?
No.
So I think you technically do too.
Yeah, but Ragnarok deals more with I think it does have some like more like present day stuff.
Not necessarily present day. Oh, does it like actually?
I think it does. I think it does. Yeah, but it mostly tells the whole Isu like weird story.
I was gonna say I thought there's like 3 different timelines going on in Valhalla.
Yeah. Well, when you collect all the like animus glitches or whatever they're called in Valhalla, they show you what the Isu thing actually looked like.
Uh-huh.
What you see with Eivor when he goes into like the dream states is like their like folklore version, like how they perceive it, but that's not what it actually looked like. So they do. I would rather it would have been like the Isu look to it, because that would have been kind of cool to finally have like a Isu looking.
Oh, you mean
thing?
You mean during the
like when you're actually like Odin and stuff like that?
I personally liked that timeline.
Yeah, you like Jotunheim.
Well, I mean, I liked the fact that they were bringing the like North mythology type stuff into it, because I guess when else are they gonna have a chance to?
I mean,
do that?
yeah, but this is also around the time where it's like God of War was already doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
that's true.
And God of War did it much better.
Yeah, and you have Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I was already like, yeah, I get it. With Norse mythology, like we've seen this a dozen times.
And what other mythologies do we have to get through now?
I don't know if they're touching on it. Like, are you talking about for God of War?
No, I'm talking about for Assassin's Creed, because they're hitting all the big ones.
Well, actually, this is like the first time they really explored specific mythology. I don't think they're really gonna keep doing that.
It's like, all right, here's Christianity, Jesus Christ.
I mean, they touch on that in some of the other collectibles of the other Assassin's Creed, but this is like the first time where you actually like fully delve into the fantasy of mythology, other than like Curse of the Pharaohs for Origins. But I don't even know if Curse of the Pharaohs is canon.
Odyssey though.
Yeah, Odyssey does it too. Yeah, like the whole RPG era did that, which it's fine. But
what else would there be? I know there's Greek, there's Norse.
Well, Odyssey touches on some of that for the Greek, but because like it's weird when you fight like the mythological creatures in Odyssey, like the Cyclops. When you defeat them, it's like a piece of Eden falls out. Oh. So it's like they're just an illusion.
Okay.
That's kind of how they explain it. Why Bayek is able to tame a giant albino alligator that fights along his side is never explained. He just does that.
I didn't play
That's
Origins or I played a little bit of Odyssey, but like.
And then the
like
Curse of the Pharaohs DLC is like you travel to the afterlife to defeat these like corrupted pharaohs. And then the way they explain it is like some random dude's like, did it actually happen? We'll never know.
It's like, well, I wish you would tell me, because I guess we won't know.
No, Curse of the Pharaoh was terrible. I hated that DLC so much. It was bad. The boss fight sucked. It was really boring. So I would prefer that Curse of the Pharaoh is just not canon. It doesn't even make sense in the context. Like, it makes the theme make sense, but in the context of the game, it doesn't make any sense. They did have the Hidden Ones DLC where they actually turn into like the Hidden Ones, the assassins, which that one was good, but Curse of the Pharaohs was terrible.
Yeah. Well, I was always excited for Valhalla because it was probably the closest, like, in comparison, to me at least, to Black Flag, which is probably one of my favorite Assassin's Creed.
Kind of. It's funny because Odyssey's the one that had this ship naval combat return.
Yeah. But like, I mean, like because
you can raid in Valhalla though.
I guess it's like the roguish element.
Well, yeah. I mean, like Vikings and pirates. Viking, yeah. Like they have raids and loot treasure. But
so that's kind of why I was really excited for it. But then, like, the gameplay was very fun for a time, and then you just end up. It's like, okay, I got to go to this location. I got to get the 57 collectibles that are like in each area. And
I mean, that's technically optional, but yeah.
Yeah, but it ended up like you wanna do it.
Yeah.
So that's what ends up getting very tedious in the game.
The RPG combat system, I get sick of within like a half hour. It's just like it's just really like. The counter kill system is also very mindless, but to me, the counter kill, I don't want the counter kill system to return. I want them to do something like Ghost of Tsushima, which when they were at Assassin's Creed Unity, they were already making something like Ghost of Tsushima before Ghost of Tsushima did it, and then they just scrapped all of that, and then they went for a more like arcadey hack and slash where it's still just as mindless as the counter kill. It just takes longer.
Yeah, I feel like it's a majority rules type of thing. People just ended up liking that
Origins
style.
blew up, and now everybody hates it again.
Or what, Origins?
They don't, like, most people don't want the RPG style anymore.
Yeah.
People were getting sick of it. I got sick of it with Origins. Like, while Origins was still new, I got sick of the RPG style that they went with. And now, like, people started getting more sick of it with Odyssey, and then they were just, like, done with it with Valhalla. And then that's why people were excited for Mirage, because it was like they were stripping all that way down. Like Mirage isn't really even an RPG.
Yeah.
It still plays like those games, but it's more like they cut out most of the RPG elements to it.
Yeah.
So it's more of just like an action adventure in like a somewhat open world.
Think you'll ever do an Assassin's Creed?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a big one.
I'll hop on Unity with you. That actually.
I don't even know if the co-op still works on that game.
Oh, do they not have it available anymore?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Because that was the one thing that I always thought was really, really cool is that they had that. If it wasn't for Unity's original, like, when it came out, it was broken.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, I bet that game would have actually done very, very well.
Yeah.
People were so pumped for that
It's
game.
funny because when people look back now, Unity's parkour and combat system, although the combat system had some, like, jankiness to it and needed some more polish, Unity has some of the best actual gameplay out of the entire series in terms of its like core mechanics.
I never really got that far in the game because it was just
when it came out it was super broken.
I couldn't play it. Yeah.
The story's not the greatest, but the gameplay is really good in that game. If they would have just kept going with that, they like I said, if they would have refined that combat system, we would have had something like Ghost of Tsushima from them. But they decided to just go in a completely different direction. Like they decided to kind of capitalize on what Witcher was trying to do, but they just made like a worse version of it.
Yeah. And they have, I mean, now we're getting versions of, like, we're getting closer and closer to like those types of games now. Like we have Rise of Ronin coming out, which looks like a mix between that and like a Souls game kind of thing. So we'll end up seeing kind of how that goes. So we are getting more stuff like that. It's funny because now I'm seeing a lot more. I'm now seeing a lot of like games coming more back to like single player aspects. I think that people are realizing live service games really don't work, except for there is the one, which is HellDivers, which apparently for a lot of people doesn't work. So moot point there. But well, it's funny because that was one of the news stories that happened near the end of last week with Kotaku, where they used I don't know if you remember the game. I think it was made by EA, but it was like Immortals of Avium. It was like that first person magic game. Well, it didn't do that well. It didn't sell very well. And Kotaku used that as an example. They were like, this is proof that like single player games aren't really working anymore. And this was in the same year that all those like massive Hogwarts came out, Baldur's Gate 3, like all these massive single player games. Baldur's Gate isn't. It can be single player, but but in terms of what we're talking about, it's not a live service game specifically meant for like huge lobbies of multiplayer.
But that's all the same year that Spider-Man 2, Alan Wake 2.
Oh yeah, Alan Wake,
Like all these massively successful single player games came out, and then they were like, Immortals of Avium failed, so single player games are done.
Yeah, which I hope that more companies keep going towards not like stupid live service like type of stuff like that, but more so things where you can play with a small group of your friends. You know what I mean? I think that is what most of us want to do. I mean, we can just kind of get this out of the way when we're on the topic, but with Suicide Squad, because yesterday the WB Discovery, I forgot the guy. I think it might be the CEO, or it might be someone who's ahead in the games development section of it, but they acknowledged that the game did not meet expectation. No way.
Yeah, it's obvious. I mean, like I said, I fully played through the game. I even did the end game grind to get all like the weapons that you get. I've been seeing like some people online saying that like the gun loot is terrible and like all the guns suck, which is just not true if you actually grind out the end game guns. Because there was like, I was grinding them out, and then once I got like the tier 3 SMG, I was just instantly killing. Like even like if I don't play on like a super high mastery level, I just keep it on default, things die in like seconds. Even like big brutes, like you become super powerful in that game. Like I even when I beat the game, I gave it like I I don't usually do number ratings. I usually just say whether or not I'd recommend it, which I specifically said I didn't recommend it. And I gave it like a 5 or a 6, I think. Like I said, I would either give it a 5 or a 6. Yeah, it's...
How many hours did you put into the game?
I have like 60 something hours with all the end game grind.
He plays the games, so you don't have to.
Yeah. But like, I mean, for me, I do have fun with the game. Like the gameplay itself, once you're in the end game, can be fun. It's just the game. The problem with the live service approach to it is that this is a game that like I can't really fully review the story because the story's not done.
Oh.
They're finishing the story throughout their seasons, which I think season 1's gonna have 2 story elements to it that continue it, and then they're still going. They show silhouettes of the future characters.
So they don't even give you a complete story of it?
No, well, they give you like a complete section of the story, but like I don't know if you care if I say anything.
Well, the game is newer, so if anyone doesn't want to hear it, I guess this I don't
really even have to spoil it. I all I can say is like when you finish the game's initial story, you find out that there's like 12 more things you have to do, but you can't do them yet.
Oh.
When season 1 starts, you'll be able to do 2 of the 12.
That is, to me, that is very frustrating.
Well, that's live service because Avengers did the same thing. Yeah. Obviously, it didn't work with that, but like, because Avengers, they had remember the cliffhanger with Monica where you defeat Monica and she apparently dies, but then she's like a clone, like the person who's running AIM. She like clones herself, and then they kind of just leave it on a cliffhanger.
That's after?
Yeah.
That's like the end of the main game?
Yeah.
I thought that the end of the main one was beating MODOK.
Yeah, it is, but then it shoots that Kree signal up into the air, and then you find out that Monica is like cloning herself.
Oh.
They started continuing that as they would drop free content, but then they never finished that story because they canceled the game.
Yeah.
So like that could be the potential future of Suicide Squad. I guess it depends how much WB wants to lean in on it, because I mean
this was Avengers. This is like Suicide Squad is like a B team. Avengers is the Avengers.
Yeah,
this is Marvel's literal A team.
A Justice League live service game probably would have sold better. Whether or not it would have actually still maintained players is anyone's guess. But in this case, I personally do want to see the whole story just to see what the hell they're...
Just to get a sense of, hey, I put 60 hours.
Well, no, and just to see what because a lot of the backlash comes from how the story is presented right now. Like most people don't like the way the Justice League was treated and like how they take down certain members and some of like I guess the like biographies of characters also caused an issue. There's nothing that really sticks out in terms of the dialogue throughout the normal game that I could see people having too much of an issue with, but I heard it's in like the biographies. But the biggest part of the backlash is how some of the members die and how people feel like they've been disrespected by it. I mean, it's in the name of the game. Like, you're going to be killing the Justice League, but a lot of people just had a problem with the way the Justice League dies. And it is, even in my videos, a lot of the ends of these heroes is extremely anticlimactic. Like, there's no like big scene or anything like that of them going out like except for one of them, but everybody else, it's just like you shoot them and then they're dead. You've won, and it just immediately is over. Yeah. There's hardly ever dialogue, so it's very anticlimactic. But it's set up in a way where you can tell that this isn't the end of it. Like you beat him and like it's like, oh well, that was it. That's like we did it. But you can tell that there is supposed to be more. Like it does leave that feeling that like something isn't being like told to us. And there's like little hints here and there. They could be oversights if the developers are really just terrible at their job, or they could mean something.
Yeah.
Like the earliest one that everybody knows about is Flash losing his finger, because that happens really early on in the game. But then when you fight him, he's got it back. So there's like weird things about it, and there's something off about Superman, and it's just like there's some leaks for season 2 that I'm not going to talk about, but it hints at certain things. Like there's more to the game's story than what they've told, but like that's a good thing and a bad thing, because like I want to know how the story plays out, because it's like, if this is really the future of the Arkhamverse, it has to pay off. But the problem is like, they didn't tell this story first.
Yeah.
Because they decided to do live service. So if this game fails and they can't finish that story, they just shoot themselves in the foot.
I mean, it's probably not a good sign that they're already saying that it flopped and failed like that.
I mean, there have been games that have made
like
success.
Second Lives,
yeah, they made success later.
Like Morbius.
The movie. A live service movie.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, the future of Suicide Squad is going to be weird. I'm in like completely middle of the road about it. It's not a good game. It's not a bad game to me. It's just like it's just a game. Like, it's just okay. It's fun in the end game to play sometimes, but.
So I have like two questions. One is, was the story like the saving grace of it? Do you think?
I don't know. The story, like I said, the story does feel incomplete.
Okay.
So I can't really, that's the problem with the story, is that you can't really, like, that's where a lot of its criticism is coming from, is people are saying like how bad the story is, but the story's not done.
So most people actually enjoy the gameplay over the story, because I played the what was it, the stress test for it.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't, like, the gameplay and like everything. The story is the part in the stress test that seemed to me like what would be like the most interesting part of the game.
Yeah. I mean, the story is fine. The story does have really good moments, but also just really dumb moments.
Keeps you interested.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it goes up and down. But like I said, it doesn't actually end.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to. That's why, that's the problem. Is like I want to see the full story to really say whether or not I like it. Because that's like saying like, you see season 1 of a show that's got 8 seasons planned, and you're supposed to judge the whole story overall.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
So it's one of those, like, but like I said, that's not a good thing. Like, that's not a good way to make a game that is more story based
like
than
the
it is
Avatar
anything
movies
else.
with the blue cats. James Cameron apparently has like 18 of those planned.
Well, no, I mean, usually those movies tell like a specific story. I'm just saying, like, season 1 of a show usually sets up a story that is supposed to go over multiple seasons.
Yeah.
But like,
do you think it's a game, because it's pretty obvious that it's a game, and this is probably on the flip side of what I was talking about earlier, where it is a game where it is set up for having a group of friends play it. But like, do you think that would be a better way to experience the game than playing it by yourself?
I don't know, maybe. The game doesn't feel like, I feel like if you had more people, you would just get through stuff like instantly.
Really?
Because it's not hard to get through by yourself, but I don't know if they scale the difficulty. Because I'm on the max difficulty for the world, and it still feels super easy. So yeah. I don't know, but yeah. So it's just a weird game. The gameplay, that's the other problem with the game though, is the gameplay doesn't really truly flesh out fully until you're in the end game.
Yeah.
So like throughout the story, you just pretty much have the basics the whole time, and then when you finally beat it, that's when you finally like open everything up.
Yeah.
So it's one of those. It is definitely one of those games, because Avengers is kind of like this as well, and it's not a good game design, but it's one of those games where you need to just get through the story as quickly as you can, and then the game starts.
Yeah.
But like in this game's case, it starts, but there's also only so much you can do because you got to wait until the season starts.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a game where you have to just play it over time and wait, which isn't, like I said, that's one of the reasons why these live service type games fail, is because it's like people want the experience when they buy it, and they don't want to just keep waiting a whole year to finally get the full game.
Yeah.
So it's just it's gonna be weird seeing the future of this game, like whether or not they'll actually improve. I mean, right now I don't even know if you can play co-op or online. They've been having server issues ever since the game launched.
Oh, they're still experiencing server issues?
Yeah, they just pushed a patch out on Friday last week to try and fix it, which it didn't fix it, and then they introduced a new bug where when you finish a mission, it'll say loading Metropolis forever.
Oh,
so you have to close the game. Apparently, in order to fix that, you have to turn off crossplay.
That's a weird.
I don't even play online, so I could do that.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess speaking of co-op games, the Borderlands trailer, which we just watched.
Yeah, literally just watched it.
Yeah. Well, I think that it looks like really good. Yeah, I know that you're not like a big Borderlands.
No, I don't know anything about Borderlands.
As soon as we were watching it, I was like, you know what this looks like? Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah. The only concern with it is if they plan it. I know that like going into it, you just want to make the best movie possible. No, like even not like thinking about sequels or anything like that. But this movie looks so expensive that if it doesn't make all of the money, that it's gonna not do good. And that's the only worry. Like they have so many big actors and actresses in this. Cate Blanchett, which is for me honestly a wild choice as Lilith. I don't know why they would have her, but it just looks like an immensely expensive movie. Jack Black as Claptrap. It looks really, really good, and like it has the comedy like hints to it that Borderlands does. So I mean, after seeing that, I'm super excited for it. But if it doesn't break the bank because they're spending so much money, most likely we wouldn't get a sequel at all on it. That's my only problem with it.
Yeah, we're in a weird time though where I think that now that people don't want to see superhero movies anymore, but they're willing to go to anything else, because Dungeons and Dragons movie had like a very similar vibe as the way this one's being presented, and that movie actually did pretty decently for them.
Have you seen Dungeons and Dragons?
I have not seen it, no.
It's good.
So
it's pretty good.
This movie might just do well enough to where they'll be fine.
Yeah. Yeah,
unless there's just something that they haven't shown us that completely ruins the movie.
Yeah. No, the one thing I think though, the difference is the fact, like I think that Dungeons and Dragons was probably cheaper than this. Like they have big actors in this. You know what I mean? But that's the only thing. And I'm pretty sure, have they said that they're making another Dungeons and Dragons?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean that's the only concern. Otherwise, to me, it looks awesome. Like Jack Black's Claptrap, that's pretty funny. And yeah, you never really got into Borderlands, so I tried to play the first Borderlands and didn't get into it. And it wasn't until the second Borderlands that me and Tyler, who's my good buddy, we ended up playing Borderlands 2 together, and we just like played so much of that game, like so many playthroughs of that game, which is crazy. But it was just a good co-op experience. And that's one of those games where it feels like you need to have someone else playing with you to make it a fun game to play.
That's probably why I never got into it.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's what we should do. Joystick Jabber Borderlands. That is one thing that we had talked about before, is like, because we're currently only on YouTube, but we're moving a lot of the stuff, or we're moving stuff to Spotify as well. It just takes forever to like upload things to Spotify. But we had talked about doing some more things besides just the podcast, like co-op playthroughs of games, which I think would be pretty
ranch sim,
pretty fun. Yeah, ranch sim, just never ending.
Yeah, police sim.
Yeah, police sim. Any sim, just the sim game,
just
simulators. The Sims.
Yeah, I don't.
The Sims 2
Sims co-op.
Remember the Sims 2?
Oh yeah, the PS2 one.
Yeah,
that one's co-op.
Yeah, but no, I mean, back to what we were talking about, Borderlands. It's good. I played a little bit of 3, but 2 was really my like main jam. I think that if you played it with somebody, I think that you'd get into it. I think it's pretty like, it's got some good comedy in it, and it's good. I like it. You've never been into like the whole I don't know, like loot type of games?
I mean,
like
Suicide Squad's technically a looter shooter, so
you love that.
No, I mean, the thing is, it's like the games always are designed in a way where it's like you get more garbage than you get anything good.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad's the same way, but like I said, it's like there are shit guns in that game, like some people have been saying, but it's really just about the end game guns. Once you get the end game guns, then you have your guns until the next end game guns that they add.
I mean, that's the same thing with Borderlands. Like the main thing in that game is getting the like legendary guns.
Yeah, in Suicide Squad, it's getting a notorious or infamous.
Yeah.
If you legendaries, like there's only a few good legendaries, but like all epic and below is just all garbage.
Yeah,
or just get rid of it all.
I think there's like pearlescent or something like that now.
Yeah.
Guns.
That's how all looter shooters are.
Yeah. But like the legendary ones, they always had like the crazy effects and stuff that would just slaughter a bunch of stuff. You get like legendary grenades that would burst into like, that was the coolest part, was like getting some things that were different than any of the normal guns, because there's so many different variations of the guns that you can end up picking up throughout the game. Is like finding a cool variation of something, or the legendary ones where they do like really unique effects and stuff. That was always a really cool one. So but yeah, there's that. That was some bigger news. I completely forgot that they were even making a Borderlands movie.
They've been working on it for a while, because I think it had like filming delays and stuff like that on and off. So they've been teasing stuff for it on and off.
And Jamie Lee Curtis is in it, which is crazy. Yeah, I completely forgot that they were even making that. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Are there any other major? Some other major news items. Yeah.
Tekken, they had like a whole developer live stream for just like talking about the future of the game and the upcoming patches and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And next month's or actually it's scheduled. It says late this month or early next month. They're adding the Tekken store with where you can get Tekken coins. And you can use those Tekken coins to buy legacy outfits. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, because when me and you were playing Tekken, I was like, where's... Because my main dude has always been Harang. I'm like, where is his normal suit? Like, why? Like, I just want to wear his normal stuff, of course. Pay locked.
Well, he hasn't had anything revealed yet, but most likely,
I'm sure. I'm sure.
So yeah, it's there's been people going back and forth about it, because in Bandai Namco's case with Tekken 8, when you compare it to like Street Fighter 6 or Mortal Kombat 1, it's not nearly as aggressive as those games. Like Mortal Kombat 1, you get the suit for $12. You get a classic outfit basically, and then in Street Fighter, I think it's like $12 to $15 as well for outfits.
Jeez.
But in Tekken 8's case, it's $4.
Okay.
And like with Tekken 8, you also get the access to the like color choice where you can just choose any color you want. So it's like any color. You don't like, how like in Mortal Kombat you get 6 colors.
So with that though, are you going to be able to put that outfit on any character you want, or is it just...
No, it's like specifically designed for that character. Okay. Like it's the ones that they revealed first were Jin's Tekken 4 outfit, which is like the hoodie.
Yeah.
Jun's Tekken Tag 2 outfit, and Zhao Yu's Tekken Tag 2 outfit, and then Kazuya's like military Tekken 6 outfit.
Okay.
So those were like the first line of stuff, and then they had like avatar cosmetics you can get, where you can make your avatar look like Reina or King. I don't care about that stuff, but some of the emotes for it were like 50 cents. So like they're pricing.
Gonna have Armor King outfit, or are they gonna make Armor King a specifically unique character?
I don't know. Like that's the one thing with Bandai Namco, is like they were surprisingly transparent about it during their live stream, because it like normally, like if Mortal Kombat was gonna announce something like that, they would do it in like a combat cast that's pre-recorded. Mm-hmm. So it's like not actually live. They're not actually discussing it with people. Yeah. But in Bandai Namco's case, they actually were discussing it, and they were saying that like they kind of already acknowledged that there would be like backlash to this and that people would have a problem with it. My side of it is like, it is kind of messed up that like they wait a month after launch to do this, because it's like they get all the reviews and they get all their sales and there are people who just don't support games that have microtransactions in it. Mm-hmm. But if they bought Tekken because it didn't, now it's getting it. They're stuck with it. So like there's two different sides to it. On Bandai Namco's side, they did support Tekken 7 for an extremely long time. I think the game had like 3 or 4 character packs. And they're planning on doing that with this game, but more where where everybody gets access to like free story content surrounded by those DLC characters. Mm-hmm. But like the people who buy the season pass get access to play as those characters. So, and they said that like this store is more of a way to fund like future Tekken projects for Tekken 8, like future updates and like maybe like tournaments and stuff like that, or just funding stuff for people.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's always what we want those to do. But that for a lot of companies, like that's never the sentiment that you get. Yeah, like with NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat 1, that's not the sentiment you get because nothing's really. We already know their plan of the combat pack, and the other like feature updates have been really poor. So it's like these microtransactions that they're selling. It's just like it's simple stuff for an extremely overpriced value.
Yeah.
And then your patches and support for the game is really slow and not good.
Yeah.
So it's like the sentiment behind the store is like this is literally just for more money and that's it.
Yeah.
Whereas in Tekken's case, the pricing and how they're being transparent about it, it does lean more towards the side that they just do want to make their game better, and that the money that they get from these cosmetics will help them do that. But
will it?
The debate is 50-50 because it's like, like I said, I don't agree with them adding the store a month later like that, but the prices aren't as crazy as a lot of games have been doing it. Though to me, they shouldn't cost money anyways, because when you compare the customization to the previous games. Yeah. 7's wasn't that great, but 8's even worse. So it's like you can tell that it's hindered simply because they know that people are going to want to buy the legacy outfits.
Exactly. That's my whole thing. And like this is the reason that it gives these are the types of things that give live service games like bad name.
That's the thing is Tekken 8's not even really like a live service because it is way more the store, because like when Tekken 8's a way more feature complete game in comparison to like Mortal Kombat 1.
Yeah. Oh, so. yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, which we can get into. Also, the Peacemaker trailer also dropped.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, in general though, like people always like live service games. I feel like there's that disconnect between developers and gamers where it's like they don't understand why people wouldn't like live service games or something along those lines. And it's like this is why, is because this kind of stuff gets dropped on us like last minute now. And like you said, if people would have known this early on, like if this would have been known information, it's like, hey, we're not going to be putting out the legacy outfits because we're gonna have them in but it has to be something like this where it comes off as like sneaky. And that's what I mean is it feels like there's that disconnect between the developers and the actual people playing the game, where it's like there should be some transparency there. Well, I don't understand why there wouldn't be. That had to have been the plan from the beginning. Yeah,
it's literally like the first major update.
Yeah.
So they knew they were gonna do this. I know that's why I said there's like two sides to it, because it's like, while I want to believe their sentiment behind the game, because they do support their fighting games for a very long time. Like Tekken 7 was supported much longer than, like, if you compare like MKX to MK11's life cycle, Tekken 7 like stretches that whole entire thing in terms of support. So it's like I want to believe their sentiment, because they usually do stuff for their community, but at the same time, that's the other side of it. It's like they knew they were going to do this. They specifically didn't mention it before the game came out. There's definitely that like shadiness to it. They're like,
hey, you remember frame data? Yeah, we're getting rid of that if you want it back.
Well, yeah, the Tekken 7 thing. That was included in a season pass at the very least, but yeah, that was stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing with Mortal Kombat, though. It's not specific to that, like, Bandai Namco.
Well, yeah, but with Mortal Kombat, the store existed day one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but they also didn't mention that. They also didn't mention any of the stuff that's gonna be...
They showed that there was a store.
But the fact that it's gonna, like... The fact that the legacy stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, stuff in the story, it's like those are types of things that you would... Coming from something like a gamer coming from the other Mortal Kombat games, and looking at that and then being like, oh, we can probably get these in like the version of the crypt, which is now the shrine. It's
or
like, oh,
the invasions.
Nope.
But no, you can't.
Nope. It's like
you can get some stuff, but yeah, a lot of it. Surprisingly, you can get the classic cameo outfits.
Yeah.
But like in terms of, that's the other problem when you compare like Tekken 8's shop cosmetics to Mortal Kombat 1's. It's like Mortal Kombat 1's legacy outfits aren't 1-to-1. They're not like exact replicas of the original outfit, whereas Tekken 8's are. Mm-hmm. They're like an exact replica of how the suits looked from the previous game. So it's like you're paying for these legacy outfits in Mortal Kombat 1 and they're not even accurate.
Yeah.
And
but then there's also like the DLC
money.
Characters that you pay for that have no customization.
Yeah, and the other stuff that they could have, like Omni-Man in his announcer voice, is sold separately.
Yeah,
for more money than the character itself. Because the character itself is like $8 and the announcer voice is $10.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to go into like a deep rant on Mortal Kombat, but but this is like, that's what I'm saying, is like these are the types of things that just give live service games a bad
Well, yeah, the other major side to it is that you're still paying $70 to $100 for these games. Mm-hmm. And then they're like, oh, you want a costume? That'll be another $12.
Yeah.
And like in Mortal Kombat's case, it's even worse because it's like some of these costumes that they have, usually you can find them in the shrine or earn them in some way, but some of them that they do have, they're already in the game and you can actually see them in the game. You just can't get them yet. Mm-hmm. So it's like with Tekken 8, these costumes aren't like there's no physical version of it in the game. They specifically made them for Tekken 8 because you can't just import a PS2 suit.
Yeah.
Into Tekken 8. It wouldn't work. They had to like fully recreate it and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. In Mortal Kombat 1's case, they didn't even fully recreate it. They just came up with like a different version of it and then called it the classic suit.
Yeah.
So it's weird. Yeah. There's two sides to it. I don't mind that it's $4 because obviously you're not going to buy everybody's outfit because that's the other problem though, is that if you add the $4 tally up for every character for every suit, they value the suits at way more than the cost of the game.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's unrealistic that you're going to buy every single suit.
It shouldn't be though. You know what I mean? Like if you grew up on these characters, you and your brother, or, you know, someone played these characters, you know all these characters, you want to play as their classic, you know, suits. Now you got to spend $120 or however much it's going to cost, you know, to actually end up having all these suits. Like instead, it should just be a pack.
Well, yeah, that's what I said to Tiger on Steam when I brought it up. I was like, it would make more sense if these were just like bundles.
Yeah, that's what it should be.
Yeah, I mean, in Tekken, it's very unrealistic that you play as every single character all the time. Because you'll definitely try them out.
It costs that like $4 for one suit. That's still ridiculous to me.
Yeah, no, I know.
One suit, that's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, it's like Avengers, like it can't cost that much.
No, well, I know, but it's just funny because it's just in comparison to the market today, that's literally less than half of what stuff normally costs.
Yeah. So. I mean, comparatively to the other companies that are trying to rip you off, it's like, what, you think that only 2 people that are playing this game are gonna buy this? It couldn't have cost more than that to, like, you know what I mean?
No, yeah.
To actually put these things together. It's just, it's I mean, I hopefully they do, like, hopefully they do turn this around, because that's also like in the esports section of it, that's also like a concern, is that fighting games now, they have like the actual winnings that you get from doing.
Well, yeah, but Bandai Namco with Tekken is usually better.
Is that higher?
Mortal Kombat, yeah, NetherRealm's usually the one that's like not good.
It's like, yeah, why would you even want to do it? But yeah, it's good that it's gonna go into like tournaments. It's gonna go into like hopefully future content that is hopefully free.
Yeah.
This is going to go into future content that you also have to pay for.
Well, I even said that to myself when they announced it. I was like, yeah, but they're already doing season passes too.
Yeah.
So it's like,
yeah, and that's the thing now, is like season passes don't even go towards season.
It's just
stuff.
Like extra cost basically.
It doesn't make
So yeah, it's definitely a back and forth.
But yeah, I mean, while we're on the subject, Peacemaker.
Well, before we do Peacemaker, the other game too, in comparison, we don't have to talk about it too much in depth because it's already been ridiculous. But Blizzard just announced like a new pack for Diablo 4 that's like a horse that you can get with like armor and like different colors. $65.
Yeah. I had talked about this before, man.
Well, this one's newer. The other stuff was still an outrageous price.
They
but
are
like, this
straight
is,
up bending their players over.
They're pushing the prices up.
Taking them to town.
Like, you have the Oblivion horse armor pack that was like $6 that pissed everybody off. And now you have the horse armor pack in Diablo that's $65.
Almost 11 times the amount of...
Yeah. So when you compare that to Tekken 8, $4 sounds pretty good.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Like, we're Blizzard, okay, guys? We don't make enough money.
Yeah, we're Blizzard. We have a bad reputation right now. Yeah. We can make it worse.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Apparently the end game.
Still playing Diablo.
That's the thing.
They're just slowly
like,
turning this into Diablo.
Apparently the end game for Diablo 4 is like, in terms of the other Diablo games, just community sentiment wise. Apparently this is like the worst end game that has ever touched Diablo, and it's just getting worse.
And I am someone who actually played through Diablo. I had never played a Diablo game before. I played through Diablo 4. The story was great. After I beat the story, I was like, nope, I don't want to play this game anymore. Yeah. Haven't touched it since.
But that's the thing, is like that's apparently the best part of Diablo in the
story?
past. No, like getting the end game.
Oh, the end game stuff.
Yeah. So Diablo 4 is like, I think right now, community sentiment wise, is like one of the weakest entries in the whole entire franchise.
Wow.
But I don't play Diablo, so I don't really know personally.
Probably $65 for a horse pack. That's that is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's insane. But it's funny too because they did like surveys where they're like, "Would you be comfortable paying $100 for DLC expansions?"
Did they actually do that?
Yeah.
Are you serious?
I don't know what the verdict was, but I feel like no matter what the verdict was, they'd probably be like,
"If anyone
people said yes,
you're the problem. If anyone said yes, you are the."
Well, the thing is, even if you voted no, they probably don't reveal it publicly, and they're like, "People said yes, we're gonna do it."
Look at that. 0.001%.
That's enough for me.
That's at least worth like 50 people right there.
Yeah. So
yeah, that's the problem. If anyone was like yes to that,
Blizzard is like they're just really like, let's see how far we can push.
Honestly, that's what it feels like. That is what it feels like, dude. I don't even know how they think that that's okay. That's like the price of the game.
Well, it's more than the price of a game technically, because like some game. Well, I mean, it's just funny because it's like
RoboCop, $40.
Yeah, you can either get HellDivers 2 or a horse armor pack on Diablo 4.
$40. So yeah, okay. So I guess before we get into the Peacemaker one, HellDivers. So that I know that we're talking a bunch of shit on live service. I've played HellDivers 2 now. That is a live service game that is actually done right. I know that there's a lot of people that have been having server issues with the game, but HellDivers 2 does everything right. Yes, there are microtransactions. It is a live service game. That's probably the biggest factor against it right now, is the fact that it has servers. So many people are enjoying this game, and it's just it's too much for the servers their servers to handle. The thing is with HellDivers is the fact that you can get, like, there are microtransactions, but you can get the paid currency in the game. And even, like, it looks like there are season passes. Like, there's it's like it's technically things that you can unlock, and you get currency just by playing through the game, like these medals that you can use to unlock certain content throughout the pass. You don't have to pay for the pass. You just get it. Mm-hmm. It's honestly, that is how it should be done. Like, if Mortal Kombat had their store, but you could earn all the dragon crystals to get everything in the store, it would be exponentially better.
Well, you can earn some.
Yeah, no, they purposely cap the amount that you can earn to force players, and that's
which is weird because
so sadistic.
Well, when they did time crystals for 11, they didn't have a cap on how many you could earn. You could just keep earning them through Combat League or leveling up the profile.
Yeah.
With once you hit level 100 and technically every character hits 31, that's it. You're done.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying is, like, HellDivers 2 actually does it right. Yes, right now, I know they're having some server issues, and there's a lot of people experiencing problems. I personally have not, so I can't really speak to that. But in terms of like gameplay, very fun. There's nothing that's really pay locked behind anything, unless you're talking about like the special edition of the game, which should be like how any other special edition of a game is. Like, you get the extra stuff, but anything else you can pretty much get just by playing the game. You can get the currency by finding like the random, there's like random locations on each map. You can find the premium currency there, or you can just level up your like battle pass thing that they have, and unlock currency through there. So it's, I mean, that's how a live service game should be done.
Yeah. Well, especially one that you're paying to play for.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's $40. Like, if it's free to play, I can understand maybe not being able to, but yeah. Well, I know that's the funny thing about a lot of the games starting off the year is the cheaper ones are like overshadowing the expensive ones.
Yeah.
So it's just when they switched to that whole $70 thing where companies were like, no, the games are getting better. That's why the price is increasing. They're bigger, they're better. But it's like ever since they've done that, not every game's been bigger or better.
Yeah.
I mean, even Alan Wake 2 on Epic, for PC, the standard edition's $50.
Really?
Yeah, it's not even like a full priced game.
Yeah, the only thing for me, the only like real negative that I can give HellDivers is the fact that it's much better with a squad of people. Like, it is one of those games where
like, it doesn't scale solo.
Have a squad, what?
Like, it doesn't scale the thing, like, depending on how many people there are.
I don't believe so. I mean, I'm saying with like a squad of people that you know.
Yeah.
I think that the game would just be so much more fun that way. You guys can game plan around each other, on kind of what you're going in with and everything. And I feel like communication is pretty big in that game too. So that's definitely one thing, like the one thing that I'll give it. And really, like, you, Tyler, and Pick are the only people that I really play games with. So that's one of the big problems for it. But other than that, like, in terms of live service games, this is how every company should look at that. If they're planning on implementing like a currency system into the game, they should make it earnable in the game.
Yeah.
If they don't, they're dickheads. Like, if they're...
What do you mean, dude? $100 for the game, and then $10 per item in the game.
Yeah. If they don't, they're dickheads. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if that's how it should be done. Instead, if you don't do that, you just come off as greedy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's the main issue with live services.
Yeah.
With like WB claiming that Suicide Squad's didn't do well for them, because that's their whole future plan is live service everything.
Oh.
So
Good luck
hopefully
in gaming.
hopefully it's a little bit of a wake up call for them.
Good luck in gaming. Also, the CEO also had said, he's like, we're having server issues right now. Like, don't buy our game.
Yeah.
Pretty much, which was crazy to me. It's like,
other CEOs
you would never
like,
see like
other
WB.
CEOs would be like, hey, we know that you can't play the game right now, but can you buy it?
You never see like Blizzard. Yeah, right, dude.
No, Blizzard would charge you for the patch.
Yeah, I can see it. You want to get, you just spend $100 on the game. Do you want to actually be able to play it? Cough it up, another 100.
Yeah,
it's like extortion.
Pretty much. Yeah, but that's what Blizzard wishes they could do.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm honestly surprised that they're not charging for their other seasons.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're actually having free season.
That's probably why the cosmetics are so over the price, though, because they probably want to charge for the seasons, but they know that they'd probably get too much backlash for that. Yeah. So they're like, all right, fine, $40 for a skin.
Yeah, so I was like, I'd rather just buy the season.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it was just crazy to me. He like, I believe what he said was that he's like, I don't want someone to spend the only money that they have on buying HellDivers. Like, I know that's really popular right now, but it's like, I don't want someone to spend the only money that they have buying HellDivers and then have a bad experience.
Well, he also said like either just don't buy it and wait for a sale or play something else.
Yeah, which is you never see someone else say something like that.
No,
it's just crazy. So good job to them. Number 1 on public relations. Number 2 on making a game where you're not like where you're not taking advantage of the player base. Let's just say that without getting vulgar.
Speaking of taking advantage,
even getting taken advantage.
Mortal Kombat 1. No, because we were gonna talk about Peacemaker.
Yeah.
We can go into that now.
Yeah, we kind of like diverged off the path a little bit. I did want to like get HellDivers in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But let's get onto Peacemaker.
Yeah, I mean he looks really awesome.
Yeah, there was some stuff in that trailer that I did not like. Not on Peacemaker.
What, Janet?
Yes.
I mean, Janet Cage does look like a good cameo. Like she does have really good combo extenders and combo starters.
Of course, she costs money.
Yeah. So far the DLC cameos have been like the best cameos in the game.
Yeah, dude. How else are they gonna get people to buy it who don't want to shell out?
The thing that I'm curious about is whether or not you can choose like a Johnny or something, because the reason why I say that is because when they first announced the combat pack, Johnny Cage was listed as a cameo. And then when Quan Chi came out, it switched to Janet Cage.
So I don't know, man.
It was Johnny the whole time until somewhat recently, I guess. But
I'm just gonna say I highly doubt it. If they do,
usually cameos only have like 6 color swaps.
You gotta remember, this is also a DLC character. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like DLC cameos usually only have 6 color swaps.
Yeah,
so
highly doubtful that they'll also have different skin entirely.
Technically, they just have to put Johnny's model as a skin.
Yeah, but that's a different skin. Yeah. No, I mean, I doubt it. It's kind of, to me, it's kind of dumb. Like, Janet, the whole thing is like, okay, you have Kung Lao and Kung Lao. Like, you have all these fighters that are the same fighters as the cameos. And now you're gonna have Janet Cage. Why? You know what I mean?
Well, yeah. The other people were like, why didn't they just put Cassie in there?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like
they do have a Cassie model in that game too. She shows up at the end.
Oh, I mean, it's not necessarily like you have to. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily like you have to make it Cassie. You could just have the same stuff as Johnny, but make it Cassie instead. Like, I would rather have Cassie Cage. She's actually a character in the thing. Janet,
dude, Janet is just Johnny. But she's just a woman. It's just a woman.
To me, it's just dumb. Like, out of all of these characters that you have, this whole character roster, now you're gonna just make some random new character based on a character you already have. Just make it Johnny or Cassie.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
It's whatever to me, because I don't really care about the cameos in general. Just as long as they're good at extending the combo, then it's whatever. Because the cameos is like, the cameo system was one of those things that like seemed appealing at first, but quickly I stopped caring about it. Like, I'm not excited for when they add cameos to the game.
Well, I'm sure, like, that's the thing, is like, I'm sure online, for like actual online play, it's a big factor.
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of glitchiness with it.
Yeah, I mean, that the combo that you see in the actual trailer, where like Peacemaker pops him up, it has Janet continuously doing a combo. He comes down behind him and is like hitting him into her hitting him.
Yeah,
it's insane. Number one, like, I could see that being taken.
Well, that's kind of how
so
Kenshi
hard.
plays with his ghost.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, there was like some combinations of cameo and main fighter that like would essentially break the game with the two of them.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm sure for online play it is a factor, obviously, but me and you, like, we don't play online. I hate playing online.
Yeah, I'm not that big.
It is not a good experience. When I play games, I like to attempt to have fun. Sometimes it's not always the case, but like me and you, we play mostly like single player or through like the invasion modes and stuff. Like, well, I guess that's the only thing we can do now is play through the invasion seasons.
Yeah.
So like, even in that, I don't use cameos ever, really.
Yeah, I mean, I use them to extend certain combos, but they're just more of a utility than anything else. Like Chameleon's actually really nice to use because she has a lot of extenders and pop-ups, but she like randomly cycles. But with Quan Chi, Scorpion worked really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But like I said, I don't really care who the cameo is.
Yeah.
At this point.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's nice to see certain characters come back, but when they're a cameo, it's just like, oh, that's cool. Anyways.
Yeah.
Because it's more, for me, like, Peacemaker looks really fun to use. So I'm excited to play as Peacemaker. Janet's not going to come out until like a month after him anyways.
To me, it just seems weird. Like, why?
I don't know.
That's the only thing is like, and number one, why would you switch it? I don't know. It just
Janet's in the story.
Yeah. I guess technically anybody is in the story.
Well, no, she actually shows up at the end. She fights with Ninja Mime Johnny.
Why did they add Ninja Mime Johnny?
Maybe he's a skin.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe for this one character, they've added billions of skins.
Maybe instead of color swaps, it's just like different variations of Johnny.
So if like, that was the case, Janet, that would actually be very cool.
It was Janet, normal Johnny, classic Johnny, Ninja Mime Johnny.
There's no... Number one, I'm 99% sure that's not how it's going to go.
That'd be too much work for them. Because they're like, oh, we have to take the model we already made and make it selectable? Like, that's like 5 minutes of work.
What if we do this, but we charge for each of the skins $12.99?
That is what they would do. Or they'd have like a bundle for like $15.
Or 1,299 dragon crystals.
Yeah.
You can earn it in the game. Yeah. But Peacemaker himself, like, to not completely divulge and get into Janet Cage, who's gonna have her own separate month.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm getting pissed off again. But Peacemaker himself, he looks awesome. Yeah. John Cena's voicing him, which is really cool. Talking good things about Mortal Kombat.
Well, yeah, they always nail their guest characters and
I am really
gameplay.
Interested to see how they're gonna do Homelander. And if he's actually going to sound...
Injustice Superman.
Like Anthony? Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's what he is.
I don't... The IMDb thing that listed the guy who voiced Terminator for MK11 as Homelander, that's not technically official. So nobody really knows right now, but it does seem like Anthony Starr's not voicing Homelander.
He said that multiple times.
Yeah, but then he also said that he would do it.
He would do it. Maybe he was never asked.
I don't know, or it's just like maybe they weren't gonna pay him what he wanted, or I don't know, because he did do voice lines for him for Homelander and Call of Duty.
Call of Duty, yeah.
So I don't know how much Call of Duty paid.
Dude, it's Call of Duty.
Yeah.
They're like, here's all the money we made from the Blizzard Diablo DLC.
They gave him $1 billion.
Yeah. All right, we need to make this horse arm. We need to make our money back from having Anthony Starr.
And then the other one was like, we can give you a few $100,000. And he was like, that's it? I got $1 billion from Activision.
I got everything that they made on the Diablo DLC to do this. All right?
So I don't know. I mean, it's what it is, I guess, but...
Yeah. I mean, yeah, him as a character, though, he does look... He looks good. Like, he looks like he's going to be like a mix of like kind of like RoboCop. Almost.
Yeah, he looks kind of like Terminator and RoboCop.
Yeah, so he should be fun. I'm excited to hear his voice lines and stuff.
I'm excited to see his brutalities.
I'm excited to see all the customization items.
Yeah,
he's gonna get.
You can get like a few different helmets.
It's not even gonna be helmets; it's gonna be gloves.
It'll probably have different helmets, but they'll do what they did with Quan Chi and Omni-Man, where it'll probably be like helmet, glove, and like boots or gun change at the same time. Like it'll be 3 in 1.
Yeah. So you'll have a good combo, or you'll have a good one thing, but then the other things are gonna look stupid.
Yeah, like it'll be like bright yellow rubber gloves with like a badass helmet, and then like a makeshift pistol.
Yeah, the pipe pistol.
Yeah, it'll just be like, well, the helmet's cool, but everything else looks stupid.
Yeah, a rain boot.
Yeah,
rubber,
or just like cleaning gloves.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I'm excited for it. It is cool that John Cena is going to be voicing him too. So
yeah. So I mean, I still do get excited for their character drops despite everything, because like underneath all of the bullshit for that game, the core gameplay is fun.
Yeah,
it is enjoyable. It's just the mismanagement of the game and just their really terrible support for it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
in between their character drops.
That's the main thing. Is like when the game dropped, me and you played the shit out of it.
Yeah, that was the unknown future.
It was awesome, and we got so pumped, dude. We got so pumped for the Omni-Man drop. We got so pumped for all this stuff, and then it's just like we were continuously let down, and then continuously let down in the next seasons, and it's like to the point where I was legitimately making content for the game, and I just stopped completely.
Yeah. Well,
like, it was some of my best content on my channel, and I stopped because I was like, I'm done with it. Like, I don't want to.
The game's a literal roller coaster. It's like you first start playing it, and then you start experiencing what the game's grind is like and everything that you actually get. New character comes out, then you're back to that same content. Yep. New character, back to that same content. Yeah. So it's just like a constant up and down.
Peacemaker will bring people back, but then it's all in. Are they going to keep people? That's the
problem. Well, it seems like what normally happens is a character comes out, people play it for a bit, they play online, they get through maybe the first Mesa and the new Invasion season, and then only like the people who like me that grind it finish the Invasion season, and then it's
have that hope.
It's just waiting for the next character. I mean, yeah, I'd rather.
It's going to be Janet Cage.
Yeah, I'm talking about like the main next character, not the cameos. Because I like Chameleon, but I wasn't excited for Chameleon.
Who is the main next character? Is that going to be
Ermac?
Oh, okay.
It's Ermac, Homelander, and then Takeda.
I've never been a big Ermac fan. I am super pumped for Takeda though. I love Takeda.
I mean, they've been doing certain characters differently this time around, so I'm curious how they're gonna handle Ermac this time. Because they're when you compare Quan Chi's like the moves he does in the story mode compared to the moves he's got as a playable character, they're completely different.
Maybe that's why it took them longer to.
Yeah, because like the moves that he uses, same with Ermac. The moves they use in the story mode are like reused moves from like previous games.
I wonder if you go back and play the story mode now, if they've updated it.
Probably not. That's probably too much work for them. They have a hard time doing color swaps or classic outfits. I doubt they'd give a whole move
two versions
overhaul.
of Quan Chi running around in the.
Yeah, I mean
billions.
Quan Chi has like a Hellraiser looking like Cenobite suit in the story mode, like a Titan suit, and he doesn't even have that as a selectable suit. So
of course he doesn't.
That's all too much work to do.
Yeah, my guess is that they're like hoarding all this stuff, and then when their version of
Aftermath.
their version of like Aftermath actually drops, they're gonna have all this stuff available for purchase. Of course,
their store relies on FOMO.
Yeah.
Even though they've been cycling the same stuff for like the past few months now, like the same announcer voices have cycled through like 3 different times total and everything. So it's not like you're missing anything.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be. Are
you gonna get the Peacemaker announcer pack?
God, now I want to.
It's probably only gonna be like $10.
You're John Cena talk, and then it's just the most monotone John Cena you've ever heard in your life.
He's not even like in character.
That's what the problem is. I was like, oh, dude, Omni-Man, like Omni-Man voice announcer, terrible. Terrible, absolutely terrible.
Well, at least you got it with the character.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like I don't only spent like an extra, technically $10 on it.
Yeah.
All my dragon crystals. That's the real reason. I was pissed.
After grinding a few more characters out from like season 2 and stuff, I'm like sitting on like 1,400 crystals right now.
Wow. That's worth it.
Well, that's like one skin.
Yeah.
Or one announcer voice.
Yeah, we're waiting.
So.
Man.
I probably have a few more characters to get up to at least get to like 2,000, but yeah, it's just I'm running out.
Yeah. Additionally, one thing that I forgot to bring up earlier was the huge trailer drop, Shadow of the Erdtree.
Oh yeah.
For Elden Ring. That was a gigantic drop. People have been waiting so long for them to finally bring this up. I actually beat Elden Ring. I know that you didn't play it.
No.
But it was it seems like it's going to be focusing on Miquela, which is like he's like I don't know if he's technically like another god or if he's like a demigod. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. People were freaking out about it. People have been freaking out since they announced it. Apparently, the map is gonna be as big as Limgrave. For those of you who have actually played Elden Ring, you're not gonna know anything I'm talking about. But yeah, Miquela is also it's Melania's brother. So it's gonna be interesting where it fits into the story. It almost sounded like in the trailer like he's not going to be an enemy, but I don't know because you kind of fight like all the gods. It's like much harder.
Maybe they'll just have a choice at the end. They're like, "Do you want to fight me?" No. Okay. Well, thanks for playing.
Yeah, that's it. Shadow of the Earth.
Well, like Letho from Witcher 2.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because initially I had to fight him. Like, I feel like you have to, man. You go through the entire game, like, that is your sole purpose, is finding.
Yeah, it's just funny, though, because when you actually put in, like, the full context of the story, Letho really isn't Geralt's enemy. And Letho actually does help Geralt a little bit. He does cause a lot of, like, discourse throughout the kingdoms, but he keeps Triss alive because he knows that because the whole like lodge of sorceresses being like outcasted and hunted and stuff like that. Like Letho did have his hand in that because he was kind of forced to.
Doesn't he make everybody end up hating the Witchers though?
Well, the Witchers were already hated at that point. He just put more hate on it. Yes. But he also made everybody hate the witches. But he did specifically help Triss escape because he knew that was part of the plan he was a part of because he was under like king orders to do it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, with the context of 3, where if you keep him alive, he actually like helps you and like joins your fight, then it's like worth keeping him alive. But yeah, I mean, like in the original game where there wasn't a sequel, it is like more like you have more of like an epic ending if you do fight him.
It's not as anticlimactic. Yeah, definitely. But I mean, to like go back, Shadow of I don't remember exactly when they said it was going to drop, but yeah, that'll be big. That'll be really big. But yeah, I think
no, there's one more because we mentioned in the beginning we're circling back to Aspire now.
Yes.
Battlefront right. Classic. Yes, they announced right. Battlefront Classic. Now, I will say, Battlefront 1 and 2 on PC, you can still... It looks... Battlefront Classic looks like the PC versions of Battlefront 1 and 2. Like, it's not like super touched up. They might have upscaled the textures and stuff like that, but I'm just saying you do have that experience even now. Mm-hmm. But at least with Battlefront Classic, it's restoring a bunch of features. Like, in order to play those games online now, you need to, like, mod it, basically. With Battlefront Classic, it's also going to return its 64-player online mode.
That is going to be awesome.
And then they're adding some new maps to 2, and they're adding one new map to 1. And then they're adding Asajj Ventress and Kit Fisto to 2.
That's going to be interesting because, like, will she be the first... I brought this up before. Is she going to be the first person in those games with a dual lightsaber?
I thought Ayala Sakura, I think is her name. She's like a Twi'lek. I thought she dual wielded, and I thought she was playable in one of like the characters on a map. Mm-hmm. I thought, but I don't know. She might be. I just thought they did have at least one other one.
But yeah, I mean that's like that came up out of nowhere.
It did. Yeah.
Like when is that coming out? Too?
March 12th. I think March 11th or 12th.
That is gonna be. That's gonna be exciting, man. Yeah. That's actually gonna be really fun. We were just talking about the fact that I was like, I don't know what game you can play because you don't want to get HellDivers. I was like, I don't know what you like. We should be playing a co-op game together. Like I like doing that, especially with our streams and stuff. And now this is gonna be the perfect opportunity. It's gonna be like so nostalgic. Me and you. So for those of you who don't know, me and Nick FL have been friends since I was like 5-6 years old. So yeah, we spent quite a lot of time playing some Battlefront.
Yeah, I remember we'd always try to get all of our men killed.
We'd kill them.
Yeah,
we'd kill all of
and
our
then
own
we'd be
guys.
the last. It would literally like the bar. It would say 2, and then there'd be like a giant red bar, and we'd just sit there and try to kill everybody.
Yeah, it'd just be me and him just together, just sitting there. Just us two trying to kill the entirety of the other army.
Yeah.
It was hilarious.
So we just like hold up somewhere while they rush.
Yeah. We'd hold up in the places where we could get like where the ammo and the health would like regen us.
And then, but there's only like it's like a tunnel. Like there's only like one way to get to us. But then they'd throw a grenade and it'd be all be over.
Which if that happened, then we were screwed because we'd have no more ammo or health because it'd blow those robots up. But yeah, that was that's gonna be a good time, and they're bringing back like Galactic Conquest and stuff too. Right?
They're also lifting restrictions on certain modes where like the hero battle will have more maps to select now, and then like it won't be like era specific depending on the map, so you can just pick like any hero. So that's kind of cool. And then the other thing I'm curious about is like when you would hit certain milestones in the original game, you would unlock like advanced weapons that you could switch to, and they were extremely overpowered.
And, like buffs and stuff too.
Yeah, you'd get like health regen and stuff like that or something. Yeah, so I'm wondering if you still get those, but they don't work online.
Yeah, I don't know. That'll be or it does, and
it's just
or they
chaos.
just have no anti-cheat and.
Well, I don't think they're going to, but. Battlefront's one of those games where it's like the online lobbies are so massive and there's so many AI running around aside from players that it can still work, and I feel like Battlefront will have just like that dedicated community regardless. So
we'll see.
There will be cheaters, obviously, but
if there is a game and cheaters can play it, they're gonna do it.
It'll probably just have like easy anti-cheat at the very least, but knowing Aspire, they usually just try to do like faithful re-releases where it's just like there might be some additions to the game, but it's just like the original game but resold to where like some things are touched up, like the Tomb Raider trilogy basically. Like they did touch up the graphics, but it's very much the same game that you played.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even as much like I do want to play multiplayer, but I'm more excited to be playing like the Galactic Conquest. They've added new maps too. I don't know if you brought that up.
I did, but I didn't mention the maps because I forgot.
Yeah,
they have like really weird.
But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of like new maps also coming with it and stuff. It's a pleasant surprise.
You remember the mode where you can like, there's like the ships in space.
Yes, dude, that was awesome.
And you fly up to them. You can go in them and take them down.
Too.
Yeah, that was really cool.
1. I mean, Battlefront 2 was essentially Battlefront 1, just better.
Yeah, it just had more stuff.
Yeah, kind of makes me.
It's because like Battlefront 1, I remember when we used to play it, and there would be the heroes that would show up on the battlefield on your team or the opposite team, and they'd be like really hard to take out. Yeah. And so there was always like that hope, like, oh, that'd be cool if you could play as them. And then 2 came out, and then you could play as them. Mm-hmm. I mean, even when you compare,
unless you had all those buffs.
Yeah, then you wouldn't even really want to.
Yeah, then you were essentially the hero.
Yeah.
As a normal soldier.
Yeah, it's just funny because like even when you compare the new Battlefronts to the old ones just easily take.
Yeah, they're so much better. Yeah, I mean.
That's why it sucks.
I don't even know why.
It sucks that they never got to finish 3 because they were working on 3. There was actually some like early concepts that came out. There was like a playable.
Oh, you mean the older?
Yeah, they were gonna make a 3 to the older ones.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big part of that, the reason that, well, me personally, I think the reason that I think that it's better is because of the fact that they had those single player modes. Like they had Conquest.
Yeah, well, and it was just a game where it felt like it just felt like a sandbox war.
Yeah.
Like you play it to just mess around and just have fun. Yeah. Whereas like the new one, it's like heavily pushing you towards PvP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like the old ones were just fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it had survival. Right? Did they have a story?
Survival wasn't. Yeah, the second one had a story mode.
That's right. Yep.
There was a survival mode, but it wasn't anything crazy. They were kind of like just time trial survival almost.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, I am, and you won't hear me say this a lot. I am excited for the multiplayer. Like it will be fun to try as long as.
I mean, we had fun. We had fun with Battlefront 2's multiplayer.
Yeah.
Honestly, in terms of like PvP experiences, Battlefront 2's was fine. I didn't really have too many problems with it.
Yeah.
There was some heroes with certain perk cards could be annoying, like Palpatine, where he chain lightnings 80 people a second. But yeah, Battlefront 2 online, even with cheaters, I feel like it's still gonna be kind of fun, unless you just have the people who are like they have like everybody dies in one button press or something.
Yeah,
that would
just
ruin
headshot.
But if there's like one dude running around with like infinite health, with all the AI running around and other people that you'd be fighting, it probably wouldn't be too problematic unless the entirety of the enemy team's cheating.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we'll see when it does drop. We'll see. But yeah, I'm pumped. Nostalgia, man.
$30.
It's a heavy drug.
That's how much it's gonna
be.
$30.
There we go, guys.
Debatable price, I guess. There are old games, but I guess you could say 1's $15 and 2's $15. Then you put them together and it's $30.
And we even added everyone's favorite microtransaction store.
That'd be so random. No, Aspire.
Remember the thing you loved? Well, here it is again, but with shit.
Yeah, Aspire. They don't do that.
Yeah, no.
So.
And it is going to be interesting though, because of like Aspire normally does like single player.
Well, I don't know how I think they just get literally the source code for the original game and then just touch up and tweak a few things and then re-release it. Because Aspire's been doing this for a really long time. They did it with Stubbs the Zombies somewhat recently as well.
The thing is though, is the new maps and like the new characters.
Well, they might be assets because, like I said, with Tomb Raider, they restored the unfinished, like the cut content from the original games. So, like Tomb Raider 1, they restored unfinished business. Tomb Raider 2, they restored something called like Golden Mask, and 3, there was something else. So I think they're assets that existed. They just weren't used, so they take them. And they probably finish them. Like if there's stuff that needs to be finished, like they probably like reuse models or textures in places and then just make it functional.
Interesting. Okay.
Like Aspire, they've been doing a good job with that. Like here's the game as you remember it. It just might look a little bit better.
Yeah.
And then we just re-release it so that you can enjoy
nostalgia.
it again. Because like.
So that's definitely a game though. That's a secret game we hadn't discussed before. It
just got announced.
March.
But yeah, that's I'm excited for that. It's just funny because it's like, I wish more companies would do that. Like they would re-release their older games like that so that they're still playable. Because like,
you know what I would love to see? You remember Manhunt?
Yeah,
I would love to see those games come out in like a more modern fashion because those broke the internet.
Yeah, I mean you can,
if there even was an internet really at that point. Not really, but
well, no, it still had a huge controversy behind it. You can get Manhunt 1 on PC, but it requires a lot of mods to fix it up.
Yeah, and like Bully, if they were ever to do Bully and stuff.
Rockstar for some reason, well, the Take-Two CEO at least, he claimed that they do remasters all the time. Before the GTA trilogy came out, so I don't know what he was talking about. They do re-release the same game over and over again, like GTA 5, but those weren't really remasters of each other.
That's probably what he's talking about.
But
remember GTA 5? Well, here's GTA 5.
Honestly, Rockstar should just. Most people would expect Rockstar to do something big with like a remaster remake, but they like even with the GTA trilogy, they should have just went the Aspire route. Where it's just like it's the original game. They might replace some of the models with like a very, very similar looking version of the model, but just without like the seams. But what they did with the GTA trilogy was like really weird with the graphics. It was like they were like, we wanted to capture that original style, but it came off more of like a weird animation type style.
Yeah,
but I enjoyed those for what they were because I did like the improved like driving physics and like aiming controls. But yeah,
I went through I think like a pretty weird phase in my Xbox 360 era days where I was like really into Japanese games. Like you remember N3?
Yeah.
That game, like it was essentially like a Dynasty Warriors type of game. If they remade or not, like if they remastered that game, that would be awesome because I don't even know where you can even find that game anymore. And then there's another game that was very similar to, like, it felt very much like a Final Fantasy, but it was a little bit different because there was like tile type stuff involved. But it was Enchanted Arms. I don't know if you ever remember me playing that. I played a lot of that. I would love to see like a remaster of that too. I don't know who back then I wasn't like super into who made the games and things.
Yeah.
I should really look into it, but yeah, I mean those would be awesome to see again.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest thing too, though, is like some of these games you don't know who has the rights or if it's even possible. But I wish more companies, if they don't want to do it themselves, I wish more companies would get Aspyr to do that. Because if Aspyr did like a Mortal Kombat collection for like the 3D era games or Shaolin Monks, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I'm looking forward to is like what achievements are they going to come up with the Battlefront Classic? Because it says it's going to have achievements, and the Tomb Raider trilogy has 269 of them.
Oh my god!
So Battlefront, there probably will be one for like Battlefront where like be the last man standing or something like that.
The other one, I don't know if it was Aspyr or not, but another one that like came out of nowhere when it was released was the Kingdom Under Fire, right? Yes, Kingdom Under Fire. Those like tactical. It was like a medieval fantasy like tactical game. I don't really know what kind of like genre that falls under, but those just like randomly dropped on Steam. I was like, what? Like these?
I don't think it was Aspyr because I don't think they released them on console. I think whoever just owned them released like the PC ports again.
Yeah, I mean that was awesome. And then they also dropped Heroes with it too. And so yeah, I love seeing them come out with old games again. It's always a good experience
because they were good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's pretty much it for all the news that I had. Like I said, there wasn't like huge stories. I mean, obviously, the Shadow of the Erdtree that blew up.
I mean, the Tekken one's kind of
pretty big.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that. I mean, there's like some stories, but nothing huge like what we had when we talked about Microsoft and PlayStation and stuff like that. But
I mean, the only other thing that we can just briefly touch on is Texas Chainsaw got new content.
That's true.
It got some new cosmetics.
Tried to stream it. That was one thing. I don't know how much I'm really going to be going into that game. I know I've said this before.
I was just going to talk about the cosmetics.
They ended up dropping some cosmetic packs and execution packs.
Yeah. Well, just one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but it came with multiple executions. But they which is actually pretty cool. They dropped free skin packs.
Well, yeah.
For Johnny and Bride Sissy, which is, I mean, that is pretty cool of them to do that.
Well, they used the shirtless Johnny thing used to be a mod.
Yeah.
And they got rid of mods.
Yeah. And then they also, I mean, the Bride Sissy skin to me looks like, I like that more than her normal one. The shirtless Johnny, I'm sure some people love it. I'm rocking it. Johnny is my favorite character, but I could go either way. It doesn't really matter to me. The weapon skins, though, which you actually do have to pay for those. Those, I got them. I don't know. Those, to me, don't seem worth it. You can barely even see the weapons. Number one, you're behind the character.
Well, and usually it's like the thing that gets the most texture, like the newest texture is like the handle.
Where they're holding it, where you can't see it anyways. The only real one that you can see is, which I don't think that they gave Leatherface any new weapon skins, but the only one that you can really see is some of Nancy's. You can see some of Cook's, and then like that's it. Really.
Yeah. Like the blades somewhat, but most of the blade variations are just like some rust, some blood.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean that's not really worth it. Executions though. Yeah. I think that those.
I got that, which I don't own a lot of the DLC for that game because I just don't see the point.
Not worth it, yeah.
But I did get the execution pack. The problem though, Leatherface's new execution has no sound. It's dead silent.
That's great. I'm sure that'll be one of the things that they fix, and they'll break something else.
You'd think they could just hot fix that, but the other problem it has right now is that they lifted the restriction on the Nicotero chainsaw, but the chainsaw doesn't apply the right sound effect either. So unless you're the Nicotero Leatherface, it plays the right sound effect. But if you just equip it with any of the other Leatherface outfits, it's just the default normal sound.
I think Leatherface is just straight up broken. Right?
He has a bunch of sound glitches all the time.
Well, and actual like
the overheat bug.
Yeah,
I know.
So yeah, I mean, not turning this into a Texas Chainsaw Rant, but honestly, we were going to stream. I actually streamed it from when we're recording right now yesterday. To show off the new DLC, and half of it I couldn't even get because of the fact that it just didn't show up on the store. I don't know necessarily if that's on.
It sounded like it was a Steam issue.
Guns, yeah, I don't know if that's necessarily on Guns' part or Steam, but it's like, come on, guys, like
now available.
Yeah, you can't say it's now available and then like not have it available.
I mean, it worked on console as far as I'm aware, although some people were reporting issues with the PlayStation Store version of it as well. But yeah, Steam got it like 5 hours after it was supposed to come out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It's just it seems like somewhere they're constantly like kind of letting us down.
Live service.
A little bit. Yeah, live service games, great.
It's always one step forward, 2 steps back.
Yeah, I don't want to rant. Yeah, I don't want to rant too much on it because I mean, if you've seen our other podcasts, we rant quite a bit. Texas Chainsaw and Mortal Kombat, trying to get away from that a little bit.
Well, yeah, those games are going to be following us for a while, though.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm sure that we'll have rants here and there, but yeah. Main one is that weapon skins, for those of you who are actually curious, weapon skins, don't get them. Not really a point. Executions, get them. I'm sure they'll fix the...
Yeah, all the other ones work fine. It's just the Leatherface one that's bugged.
Yeah, and check out the game for the Shirtless Johnny and Bride Sissy. Those are the main points there.
Yes.
And the new bugs.
Yeah.
No, typically, I guess the other thing that we usually cover is just the upcoming games. It's been 2 weeks, so, and we do have a new one.
Yeah.
It's Battlefront now.
March.
Next week, well, I guess technically this week from when you guys are going to be seeing it. This week, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Gonna be awesome. I'm super pumped.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I guess we kind of get into March because I don't think there's anything else really big this
I'm not even really sure what comes out in March besides the Battlefront thing.
I thought Dragon's Dogma comes out.
Oh, yeah. Dragon's Dogma is March 22nd, and then so is Rise of the Ronin.
Yep.
Those both come out on the same day.
Mm-hmm. And when does Battlefront remasters come out?
I thought it said March 12th.
March 12th. Okay.
And then there's still the Dark Forces remaster that comes out.
Yep.
I think it...
Is that also Aspire?
No, it's a different company. But I think that comes out either early, like Tuesday next week, or maybe the same day as Rebirth. I don't know.
Oh, third? Okay. Those are the major ones?
I think, yeah. I can't think of anything else in March, but there's a few games that we missed in February, like the Banishers game.
Oh, yeah, Banishers. Yeah, that was made by the same people who made Vampire.
Yeah, which we both liked that game.
Yeah.
The combat was a little janky, but...
I haven't seen too much on Banishers. It's getting good reviews, though, right? Like
it's like, yeah, it's doing pretty fine. It's doing good.
Yeah.
It's not doing, like, horrible or anything.
We should really be on top of this more. I feel like we lack sometimes when it comes to, like, hey, you should be telling us about this game.
Well, it's just there's so many different games.
There are, yeah. We don't have the team to like divide and conquer.
Well, a lot of games too. It's just like
he played Suicide Squad, so I didn't have to.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the games too. It's just like usually they're games that aren't really on our radar at first, and then you finally see more about them when they're like out.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh.
Well, that's the thing is HellDivers 2. I was talking about that before it released. I was like, I am super excited for this game. Drops is a banger. So.
Well, dude, I wasn't really excited for Suicide Squad.
Drops, banger. No. Yeah, it's...
No, the reason why I skipped HellDivers is because, like, I knew it was going to be a live service, and I was like, I'm already handling Suicide Squad. I don't want to do another back-to-back live service.
Serviced out.
Because it's like, I'm going to have to go back to Suicide Squad every time they drop content, too. So it's just like...
That's the thing is, like... That's also the thing is HellDivers does not feel like it's, like, a grindy... It doesn't feel like a job. You know what I mean?
Well, neither does Suicide Squad.
A lot of, like... I'm saying, like, a lot of live services feel like it's like, oh... I have to, like, come back, check in on this, check in on this.
And 3 days after I beat the game, I had all the end game loot.
Yeah.
So it just is what it is.
Yeah.
But, like, for Suicide Squad, in order to finish the story, I have to check back when they add the new story.
Yeah.
So it's like I have to go back to it because they're gonna...
You're gonna have continuous content.
Right now, I don't know. Like right now, there's not really that heavy of a grind in terms of like a live service looter shooter. But the first battle pass starts with season 1, so I don't know what the grind for the season pass is gonna be like that.
Yeah, do you have to pay for it?
Well, with the version I have, I get the first one for free.
Oh.
But they did say that you can earn the premium currency that you would get on the shop for the shop. They said that you earn that in the battle pass. There's nothing in the shop that would ever be worth buying to any extent right now, so who cares? But how much premium currency you get, I don't know. You probably get like 100 less than what something costs.
Probably, yeah.
So who
and
knows?
just under enough to get
Though
the next battle pass.
They did take the Avengers route where they said that previous battle passes don't like go away or expire. So
that's nice.
If you get the game way later down the line, you can go back to that season pass and do it.
More games should do that.
Yeah, it's weird that they don't.
Yeah.
Like Outlaw passes on Red Dead Redemption 2.
I mean, most games don't do that.
No, I know. The thing that was messed up...
That's why it's called season passes.
Yeah, the thing that was messed up about the Outlaw Pass for Red Dead is PC users, when the game came out, Outlaw Pass 1 was already done. So they never brought it back.
Yeah.
So you just missed all of that on PC. And then if you would like create a support tick, they'd be like, "Oh, you should have participated in it." It's like it didn't exist.
Yeah, I should have participated when.
Yeah, it's like maybe release the PC version the same day.
You should have pirated the game early so that you could play online when the servers.
Well, there was no game to pirate.
I know.
They're just dumb. Yeah. And it's like they abandon the game. They have no content and they don't repeat the Outlaw passes.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
All right. Well, thank you guys all for coming and hanging out with us. Like I said, we're slowly dripping out the stuff on Spotify. Once we have all the older episodes out, we'll drop everything at once. So if you guys are behind, you can listen on Spotify. I've heard that the listener experience is a lot better on that, and then we'll try to see what we can do about also getting it onto Apple and stuff too. But yeah, thank you guys again for hanging out, and I'm Sly Spy Gaming, aka Ryan, here with the co-host FLCLAFI, aka Nick, and we're Joystick Jabber. We'll see you next time.